Hi, you're watching Data Science Crash Course, Episode 8. This is about neural networks and really the basics of neural networks because I'm assuming this is the very first course you're taking, so nothing fancy. Neural networks are a great tool and probably you've heard about them a lot, even if you haven't done any data science by yourself. I'm going only to cover the very basics because actually you can go as far as you want with neural networks. They're really advanced, they are used for deep learning. So maybe the distinction between machine learning and deep learning is that basically deep learning starts when you have at least 3 layers or 4 layers of your neural network. We're talking about very simple stuff. So basically, neural networks started with perceptrons, so very single neurons which connect with each other. You can think about them as a function which takes input, then applies some kind of a function and gives that output to another function and another function, and then in the end, you're trying to evaluate the score. So actually, this very simple example of a neural network is linear regression, and by complicating functions and then adding different layers, which means then adding if you add different kind of linear regressions, then you get into more advanced neural networks. You actually get something which works much better. And actually, the funny fact is that neural networks with activation functions which are linear, which are rectified linear are working the best, and that's the recent trend in machine learning that people are using ReLUs. So the previous trend was sigmoidals using logistic function. Right now it's more about ReLUs. They're working as well, or even sometimes better. They're not so they're very computation efficient because they don't take that much of a computational space. They're much simpler, less computation, and they give great results. So the thing you should learn about neural networks is start with perceptron, then read about forward networks, read about backpropagation. Stuff like gradient descent is also crucial. Those are a couple of things you should start with, and then you'll be able to construct the very first neural networks, which work perfectly fine and will give you great results, especially for classification problems. So the problems we talked before 2 episodes ago, and also for more advanced stuff, because as you've probably seen, neural networks are right now everywhere because deep learning is everywhere. If you want to play Go, if you want to buy AI, if you want to create photorealistic photos, that's also neural network. So this technique is really crucial, but the fundamentals of that are very simple and are not much different from, as I said, linear regression and different classification techniques. And this is the stuff you should master in the beginning. So on the ending note, I should say something about frameworks that you're using for neural networks. Probably the most commonly used one is Keras and TensorFlow. Keras is the simplest. It's really simple to use. You don't have to worry about anything. You just add layers with a couple lines of code. So your neural network can be built again, like 6 lines of code. You can basically have the whole network up and basically ready to train on the data set that you provide. So this is really great. I recommend reading about Keras, the documentation of Keras, and how to start with Keras. And then as a data set, try to import MNIST into Keras. This is a perfect example and perfect exercise at the beginning. So MNIST is handwritten digits from 0 to 9. And the problem is the classification problem, because you're given an image and you're trying to classify that, whether that's what number that is. And those digits are handwritten, which means they differ because everyone writes differently, right? So this is the very standard problem, the very first problem that you do with machine learning. There's also fashion MNIST, a little bit complicated, but the techniques are very similar, and you should start with experimenting with those. And once you have that, you can start using neural networks for your own classification problems. As we talked before, there are many different great resources to do that, but definitely MNIST, which can be imported directly from Keras, is the best way. So you can try that right now in Jupyter Notebook. That's a lot of fun. Have fun with that, and see you in the next episode. Hope you enjoyed this one. Thank you for watching.